We were in my older daughter's room, and my husband was sitting on the edge of her bed, and we're catching up about our days. And my daughter was trying to read a book. So she looks at my husband and says, "Dad, please get off my bed."
He asks her why, and she says, "Dad, I would like my space back, and I'm using my manners." I almost started out laughing, and then I looked at my husband, and the look of absolute pride on his face that his daughter could verbalize what she needed.
I was packing my daughter's lunch this morning, and I realized I felt nervous.
When I was a kid and my mom would pack me Kimbap rice rolls, the kids would stare and say my food was weird or smelled funny, and I never had the words to discuss these feelings with my mom, so I just threw away my lunch. I found myself wondering, does she get me out these smells? Anyway, she came home from her first day of camp today and said, "Mom, everyone wanted to eat my lunch."
My kids were watching a movie, and I was in my office across the hall, and I noticed that my 3-year-old kept asking my 5-year-old to go downstairs and get her something. First it was a glass of water, then it was a tangerine, and then she asked her to bring her a paper towel. By the third time my 5-year-old was headed down, I said to her, if you don't want to, you don't have to get her those things. She can go down there and get them on her own. And then she said to me so matter-of-factly, it's not that she doesn't want to go down, it's that she's scared. I'm her big sister. I know these things.
I made my daughter cry yesterday, and then she made me cry. We're walking after school pickup, and she asks, "How was my sister's day at school?" So I tell her, "Oh, 2 little girls in her class to stand at her, and your sister explained that I got in her eyes and ears and mouth." And she spit it out and she told them, "No one should eat dirt, don't throw sand at me." As I'm talking, my 5-year-old's mouth starts turning downward, and then her eyes fill with water, so my eyes fill with water, and then tears are streaming down her face. And so I just say to her, "It's a sad thing to see, right?" And she just says, "Mama, I wish I had been there to help her." When my daughter was around 1.5, our doctor told us to wean her from bottles. She really loved her bottles of milk. But I'm going to tell you what did the trick. It was a suggestion from one of my more experienced mom friends. So we collected all her bottles. There were like 10 in total. We took them to Target. We told her she could buy whatever she wanted, but she had to pay in bottles. She took her Target home and never looked back. I've been feeling an immense amount of mom guilt lately. I'm a newscaster and I've had to work super late. My kids are long asleep by the time I get home. In the morning, I'm taking calls and getting ready. It's hard to feel good about the job you're doing as a mom when it's one of these intense work days. But then I walked into my daughter's room this morning, and oh my God, I'm getting emotional. And she was standing there in front of her mirror, holding her little brush like a microphone, telling herself the news. And I can't. My daughter used to have this beautiful silky black hair that came all the way to her waist. And a few months ago, she asked me if she could cut it super short. I started asking around for a good place to go for a quick haircut because while I can trim hair, I definitely can't do a shortcut. And I was surprised at how many people reacted with horror when I would let her cut her hair super short.
Even at 5 years old, she's allowed to have her own opinions about what she wants to look like. We try not to use the H word in our house, really, but this morning my 5-year-old got really mad at her sister and yelled, "I hate my sister." Usually when this happens, my 3-year-old gets very hurt and starts crying, but this morning I was incredibly surprised, and honestly I had to stop myself from laughing, because my 3-year-old looked at her sister, gave her a little smile and said, "I hate my own self."